My name is Mark, this is Zen Talk, and our topic is scams. So we're talking more about the scams in Buddhism that are out there, and we'll be going through a few of them. So the first scam that has become kind of an issue for the population at large is the issue of fake monks. Now, in city markets and popular tourist destinations, we are seeing fake monks selling these trinkets, such as Buddha cards and prayer beads. Over here, I have a sign. I'll show you the sign. This is a sign that is put out at a public market, warning the visitors about these panhandlers, as they call them. And you can see the pictures here of the fake monks. This is a monk with the prayer beads, a monk trying to solicit donations, or these Buddha cards that they want to sell you. You will see these fake monks, like I said, at popular tourist destinations. Any place where tourists are going to come gather and do sightseeing. Farmer markets, flea markets, any place where the city people or even people from outside the city might come and sell things. So we know they are fake because, number one, real monks do not solicit money on the streets. Real monks are not out there panhandling. They're not like your average hobo sitting on the side of the street asking you for a dime or spare change. The monk bowl is only for food, not for money donations. Anytime you see somebody with a bowl out there and asking you to put money in the bowl, that generally is a strong indication that the person is not a real monk. Real monks do not sell trinkets. They are not out there selling prayer beads or Buddha cards or anything like that at all. Number 4, real Buddhist monks are forbidden from engaging in any sort of geomancy, and that would be things like, palm reading, giving you a future prediction, or anything like that, any sort of fortune telling. Number 5, real monks would not act aggressively and would give you a blessing without asking for anything in return. Whereas the fake monks do act aggressive. They want something. They will tell you, oh, well, if I give you a blessing, you have to give me a donation. Or they will act aggressive if you don't want to pay the price they're asking for their trinkets. Real monks will give you an answer to any question about their temple and Buddhism in general. The fake monks tend to avoid this question. They will just walk away, or they will tell you that their temple leader will be along shortly, and that never happens. And lastly, when the police have been involved with the panhandlers and they are questioned, these people tell them that they're not real monks after all. So that is what has been going on. I live here in Las Vegas, and you go down at the Las Vegas Strip where all the big casino hotels are at, outside on the sidewalks where all the tourists are walking around looking at all of the fountain shows and all these sights. The fake monks are out there in dozens, selling their trinkets and prayer beads and asking for donations. And here's another sign says, do not give to the fake monk mafia. And this is put out by a farmer's market. And again, you can see pictures of the fake monks. And so, who are they? Who are these men and women who are dressing up in Buddhist robes and handing out trinkets, asking for donation? They're almost always Chinese, though they may claim that they are Japanese or Korean or Thai. They're not. They're almost always Chinese. They often are Chinese that have overstayed their visas, and they're just trying to get by. Somebody even once said that, no, these are actually members of Hare Krishna, which I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't put it past Hare Krishna of dressing up as Buddhist monks for donations. All right, so fake monks are not only out in the streets and marketplaces, they are also online. So there are a number of YouTube channels and where the so-claimed monk post content and they create a community around themselves. And this is a big red flag right there. They may be fake monks, and so I'll be giving you some of the warning signs here. And I want to go back and really point out that these so-called monks, they create a community around them, not their temple, not their lineage, but them. And that right there, if that's not the biggest red flag ever, I don't know what is. So they always ask for donations that go directly to them. This is another big red flag. When you start to see the donation button and where they're directing you, and you do a little bit of follow the money, you see that it goes to them, not to their temple, not to their lineage, accounting office. It goes to them. They hype up the need for a teacher guru, and they will tell you how much merit is generated when you give to them. So they kind of say that you need a teacher guru, you need them in your spiritual life as a guide. And they will tell you, they'll start reading out of books or whatever they can get their hands on that stresses the need of a teacher guru. And then they will tell you that you will gain great merit and good karma for just giving to them. And this may be overt, this may be vague, but they hype this up, and it's pretty consistent in this beating of the drum of the teacher guru. They are vague on any teachings they give or answers to the questions that are asked of them. A lot of times they may just recite out of a book, or they will say that, well, you should go look that up online. And they are extremely vague about the answers or questions about themselves or their own history. They isolate those who support them. So those who truly believe that they are the guru, the monk, somehow, once they have gotten money from them, they isolate them. And they declare those who criticize them as haters, or as unenlightened, or as, just evil people in general. And lastly, again, they will, either overtly or subtly, they will indicate that, they can give you spiritual guidance one-on-one, but there's going to be a price for that, of course. They will call that dana, they will call that many, many words about, how you need to give, because it's going to be generating all this merit and all this wonderful things for you. And that's generally these are generally the warning signs that you may be getting involved with a fake monk, one of these online predators, somebody that's creating a cult around themselves. So I have a list of potential fake monks that, in my opinion, are displaying behaviors indicative of a scam, that I have seen cult leaders and cults generally behave in the actions of what they are doing. So you should always use your own judgment and do your own research before you engage with any online guru or teacher. This includes fake monks or even somebody who claims that they're from a big temple. And remember, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, well, it's a duck. Use your common sense. All right, my first candidate he goes by the moniker of Monk Life, and he says his name is Bhante Varapanyo, which turns out to be a very common monk name in Thailand. Now, he claims to have lived in Thailand, but now he lives in New York. And often is the case, a lot of young men actually go to Thailand and they may ordain as a monk for a week or for a few months or for a short period of time, and then they realize, oh, that's just really not what they want, and then they go home. Hundreds of Western men have done this, and the Thais are very sweet, and they ordain anybody because they view it as good merit for the person. Perhaps in a future life they will take up the path more seriously. So now this guy, he says he lives in New York, and he has an online community, and he, in his videos and in his online chat rooms, he asks for money that goes directly to him. When you follow the money, you see it's to him. He presents himself as a guru teacher, and he talks about the importance of a guru teacher. So he's setting himself up as somebody that you really want to have as your guru. This is him here. He is very vague to the answers to questions that people ask him, and about his own history and his own past. I've asked him when did he ordain, and he said in 2018, which was about 4 years ago. And from my own talking to senior Theravada monks in Thailand, it's almost scandalous that somebody of his junior position would even be doing what he is doing. So it's pretty clear that even within the Thai Theravada tradition, what he's doing is scandalous. So he also isolates his followers. He gets them to go into a chat room or into this chat server, and he isolates them. And then he banishes and censors anybody who questions him or is critical of what he is doing. All right, my second candidate, he goes by the name of Roshi Meido Moore. And again, he claims in his videos and in his writings that you need a teacher guru. It seems to be the broken record, always on the same track with these guys. And all cult leaders kind of tend to go down the same direction of this insistence that you need a teacher guru, and why not them. He asks for donations that again go directly to him. He sells online spiritual counseling. This is, and he will justify this as, well, you're going to pay a psychotherapist, right? So why not pay me? He is vague and very non-specific about his so-called Zen training. You try to do any research on this guy, and it just leads you into a circle and a black hole, and you're just very unclear of who he is and where he came from. He mixes up Indian yogic philosophy and Zen in his answers, and so his statements are not only contradictory and confusing, but they're not really Zen or yoga. They're just sort of like his own imaginations of what he thinks things are. Him and just like the monk left guy, there's a lot of red flags that pop up about who they are, what they are doing, and they are tending to create a community around themselves. Not around a temple, not around a lineage, but themselves. Okay, so just as there is fake monks, there is also fake Buddhism. And there are a number of websites and online spiritual magazines that may promote psychotherapists as spiritual teachers and gurus. These magazines seemingly is only about promoting these teachers, and their sole intent is to get you to sign up for a class or a retreat with these teachers. Some warning signs that I have put together here that you might be getting involved with fake Buddhism. The number one warning sign is the teacher is a well-known political activist or outspoken on particular social issues. So when you look at their history, you don't see them having a history of being a spiritual person. You see them having a history of being a political activist or a social activist or a community organizer. There's a lot of different words for that particular kind of person. Number 2, the retreat or the class is on a political issue, not a spiritual one. And you look at the classes that they are offering, and it'll be like you and climate change, or are you a racist, or combating your inherent racism. They seem to be more political and not spiritual. Number 3, particular feelings and perceptions are presented as spiritual, which is really a materialistic attachment. So they may present something like compassion or caring, love and light, bliss, or the perception of being inclusive, or the perception of being not racist, or the perception of being kind and loving. So these are feelings and perceptions around yourself, which is what I call an emotional identity. And these are presented as spiritual qualities or the spiritual path. However, they're not. They're actually just a materialistic attachment. And number 4, the teacher's background does not really indicate that they are anything more than just a college degree professional looking for work. And when you start to dig into who these teachers are, what's their background, and you start to see that they don't have much of anything as a spiritual background at all. And it looks like a lot of them just graduated from college and they're trying to make some money. All right, so these are some popular magazines that may promote fake Buddhism and Zen. Tricycle and Lion's Roar are, you kind of find these rather quickly when you're doing your searches on Buddhism and Zen. They pop up. A lot of times they will sprinkle ethnic Buddhism. They'll talk about the Dalai Lama, they'll talk about Tibetan Buddhism, they'll talk about what's going on in Thailand and within Theravada, or go to Japan and take pictures of somebody's Japanese temple. But that is to give them the air that they are authentic. But what you really start to see, though, is a lot of the teachers and commentators that they are promoting really have nothing to do with the authentic Buddhism. These tend to be more what I would call fake Buddhism and Zen, where these magazines are seemingly to drive you to sign up and take courses with these teachers, who, of course, are heavily advertising in these magazines to get you to sign up. So it's a financial relationship that these magazines have with the fake Buddhism and fake Zen and the psychotherapist who suddenly decided that they're now going to be a spiritual teacher because they can get paid that way. So you really need to use your own judgment and critical thinking skills when you read these magazines. All right, so let's talk about Discord, chat rooms, and Reddit. It is well known that online predators use the internet to find victims. The number one way they do this is through the online chat rooms, and this is according to the FBI. Many great evils have occurred and begun in these chat rooms. The chat room in 2022 has greatly expanded and is everywhere nowadays. It's even on your cell phone, and it's in the hands of your kids, and your grandmothers now even have access to this. So applications like Discord is a popular chat app that many scammers engage in, as well as Telegram and Signal and Facebook and Twitter and Reddit. These apps are numerous, they are everywhere, and you can't turn them off. And these predators, these cult recruiters, these people that are going to come in and scam you, they love to use the chat rooms to attract you, to isolate you, and to sort of pull a number on you. So they may put up videos on YouTube or in various other places to get you to subscribe to their newsletter or to join their Discord chat or their forums. But once they get you into where they want you, they can pull a number on you. So you gotta be aware of this. And don't just listen to me. Let's go listen to Yoda over here, where he says, "A dangerous place the internet is. Smart you must be." Alright, so we have fake monks, we have fake Buddhism, now we also have fake Zen centers. Now, some scams have been running for a very long time, well before the internet, and they still operate today. You can tell a fake Zen center by they present a materialistic form of the religion and they call it practice. This materialistic form manifests itself as in the wearing of robes, the wearing of a bib, which they call the rakusu, or what I have called the magic bib, and of course the haircuts. A lot of times this is a very short haircut, and they kind of encourage this to kind of become this conformist, robotic-like cult member. You know, they all look alike, they all dress alike, and they all have the same haircut. They engage in what I call performance arts, and this would be body postures, various movements, almost like yogic movements, or Tai Chi, or Qigong. So it's a performance art. It's a materialistic form of their religion or a materialistic view. They call it practice, and Zen likes to call their performance art Zazen. Though Zazen has nothing to do with being a performance art, they call their performance art. They're still sitting, their slow movements, their Qigong-like stances, Zazen. They insist that the students follow a particular styles and mannerisms. Now, they will tell you that the style and the mannerisms is traditional. They will tell you that it was what their teacher taught them. They will tell you that it's from the home country of the teacher. But when you really start to look deeper into the style and mannerisms, you start to discover that it's just really what they invented, that their home country doesn't do anything close to what they are doing. So it's, like I said, they have particular style of mannerisms that are foreign to the American culture, and they kind of get you to engage in them and to think that these are spiritual and holy, and again, they call it practice. So it's this entire materialistic attachment they make to all of this stuff here. And the student gets so caught up in this, into following and to learning and to obeying and to performing and to conforming practice. And they get lost in it. And this is a full-time job, just doing these things. So, number 2, they insist on a teacher-student discipleship. You very quickly, when you show up to the Zen Center, they pretty much tell you that this is our teacher, this is our Roshi, this is our guy or girl. And they will insist that you have to be a disciple to get enlightened, that you cannot get enlightened, you cannot be spiritual, you cannot know Buddha's path without this discipleship. And that's where they pull a number on you. And they get you to believe that you have to be a disciple. And once they get you to believe and agree to be a disciple, they pretty much can get you to agree and do anything. Number 3, they charge high fees for their retreats and their monthly memberships. We're talking into the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars here. This is very well known of this. Number 4, they discourage of asking any critical questions, especially around, well, who is the teacher, what's their background, where did they come from, or anything about so-called practice, or where did they actually learn this stuff at. So anything that's like a critical question about the group, the teacher, the methods and styles, they're discouraged. And in fact, they might even punish you for asking them. They might say, well, we don't think you're the kind of person we want around here, or if you're going to keep asking those kind of questions, you'll have to leave. So they make it very clear that you cannot ask those questions. And they will always insist that the answers are in the practice. So they try to tell you that, well, you just do what they tell you, and all your answers will be answered, which of course they never will be answered. But they just try to get you to just get lost in this practice and become one of their cult followers. And lastly, when things really don't work out, they place all the faults on the students for not getting enlightened or for quitting. So if things aren't working out, they blame you. They don't blame themselves. They don't blame what they're doing. They just basically say that, well, you got too much negative karma, you have too much wrong think. They just blame the student for all the problems, all the faults that are going on. And if you do the performance art for years on end and you're not getting enlightened, they blame you. And if you quit, they blame you. That is the number one hallmark of an abusive cult leader or an abusive cult in general, is the blaming of the students for the problems of the Zen Center. All right. So some conclusions here. Wherever there are people with money, you will always find the scammers. Scammers don't chase poor people. And people who are happy and content, they don't chase them either. Religion in particular has always attracted the unscrupulous to prey upon the hopes and desires of those who are in suffering. And that's the key word there, those who are in suffering. For you see, those who are content with their life and happy, they're not suffering, and the scammer has nothing to latch onto. But for those that find some sort of unsatisfactoriness, some sort of discomfort, some sort of question within their lives, the scammer can grab upon that and then present themselves as the solution, present their ideas and their path and their methods as the way to fix the person's suffering, the person's discomfort, the person's unsatisfactory with something going on in their lives. And they will get you. They will do a number on you and get you to believe that them is the answer. And they will use all of this for their own gains, for their own profits, for their own amusements, not for your benefit, but for their benefit. All right, this ends my presentation. Like to thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.